Hello, this is Dave at TitleSearch.com. In this video, we're going to talk very briefly about what the basics are of performing a title search on real estate. In most states, real estate title searches are performed at the county level. All the liens and mortgages and documents are kept at the county level in various courthouses. So the first step in doing a title search is determining the location of the property and which recording district or venue it's located in. There are 3,611 different recording venues across the country. Almost all of them are at the county level. A few states have their records held at the city level. For example, the state of Connecticut, their cities and towns keep the records directly, not at the county level. In Louisiana, the records are kept at the parish level, but parishes basically translate into being the same thing as counties, just with a different name. So once you've determined the actual county where the property is located, the records for that county may be in one or two or more different places. You have to identify which courthouses hold the records. There's usually a recorder of deeds or a county clerk that has the direct real estate records, such as deeds, mortgages, liens, releases, and other types of real estate documents. There's usually a second courthouse which is separate, which is the civil court records. Those may hold things like judgments, lawsuits, other types of claims against a person which may attach to that property by statute. So it's important to not just look in the land records, you have to look at the other location where the documents might be located. Other locations for documents that would go into creating a title search could be the probate court office. For example, if there's been somebody who's deceased on the property, there may still be liens lingering in that person's name. If there was a divorce on the property or the owners, that may create other rights for other parties and even other liens against another party that may not be on title anymore. So you have to identify the courthouses. It's important to remember to visit those courthouses in person. If you're using online records, electronic records, any type of internet lookup, you may not find all the official records. In most cases, the online version or the third-party records you're looking at may not be the official title and could have things missing, could have things with wrong or outdated information. So visit these places in person. We usually like to plan on about 7 to 9 man-hours worth of work going into a title search on a residential property. So if you book that out, that's about what it might take in terms of time. Usually no cost to visit the courthouses in person. You may have to pay a small fee to get copies of documents, $10, $15, that kind of thing, but it's usually not anything extreme. Maybe even parking might be a small amount. You start at the courthouse by using what's called a name index. Property records are not indexed or searchable by address. They're usually searchable by name. So you have to know the name of the owner that you're looking for and then find liens or mortgages or judgments against that owner. Pull all those documents out. That's the next step. Retrieve the documents, make a big pile of paper of all those documents that are in that property history. Every lien, mortgage, deed, release, assignment of mortgage, judgments, easements. Once you have that big pile, then you go through and you read them to see which ones are still active. There may be liens that have been paid off. There may be easements that have been changed. There may have been deeds which are sold to somebody else. All of the original records are still going to be there in that property title, and it's important that they are. You want to make sure that you're reading even deeds that may have been superseded or liens that have been paid off, just to make sure that they're paid and that the release that you're looking at actually matches up on that lien. So compare the documents, cross-reference them to see if this lien matches this mortgage, if this release matches this mortgage, or if it's been released. Once you've done all that, you can eliminate all the liens that have releases, you can eliminate the mortgages that have releases, and the remaining pile are what goes into that title search. Those are going to be the items that are still active on that property. And then you can take a second step and check alternate spellings of names. If a person's name is McAllister, you may want to check it with 1 or 2 L's. You may want to check MAC versus MC. Alternate spellings of first names, John versus Jonathan, Bill versus William, just to make sure you're not missing anything. Once you've done all that, go ahead and check the tax assessor's office to make sure that the taxes are up to date. They may be paid, but they may be paid late. There may not be a lien, but there may be a delinquency. So check the taxes to make sure that there's no taxes owed, because that won't show up in the property title. You want to check that separately. We already talked about civil court. You want to make sure that those records are checked. See if there's any mechanics liens. Mechanic liens may not have to be recorded in the land records to be valid. There may just simply need to be a permit open or something where work is not completed, and you want to make sure no mechanics liens are going to jump out on that property after the fact. And the last thing, double check the zoning. Make sure that the zoning for that property matches the use that you have intended. If it's a residential property, you want to make sure it's zoned residential. If it's a multifamily, you want to make sure it's zoned for multifamily. There are some properties that appear to be residential, may have been zoned originally as commercial, just have been used as residential for so long that it looks like a house. But when it changes ownership, and that might not match up. It's not very common, but you'd hate to buy a property, whether it's a foreclosure auction or put a mortgage on it, and find out that it doesn't match the use that you had intended, and it's only to be used for something else, or there's restrictions on parking or restrictions on rental. So check the zoning at the last step to make sure that matches. If you have other questions, we'd be glad to help. You can reach us at titlesearch.com. We do title searches in every county across the country. We can answer questions for you based on the needs for your particular search, and even point you in the right direction of what county records offices might be applicable for your property. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next video.